USC upsetting the Utes. UCLA pulling off a miracle comeback on the Palouse. 67-63. The boner, the lead has left the pencil. Trojans 28-14 loss on Lake Washington. Conflated by most USC beat writers as a game the Trojans, quote unquote, could have and should have won. And we'll talk about UCLA tomorrow, but I agree USC could have played better and that SC had the edge in overall talent and that SC had some opportunities go awry. But the Huskies led 17-7 at halftime, built it to 28-7, and the closest SC got was 28-14. And that was it.
That was that.
So Washington was never not in control of the game, using the double negative.
Was never not in control of the game. Yeah, there we go.
Now, like a lot of red zone teams, hey, between the 20s, we kick ass. SC got in the red zone twice, and Matt Fink threw 2 picks. Fink threw one with UW leading 20-7, and he threw another with UW leading 28-14. It was never a one-possession game in the second half. So why do I have to pick up the LA Times and read about how damn close it was? My God.
Seems a little incongruous.
Doesn't it? Despite the truth of the matter, Clay Helton hit his usual, and there is now a Clay Helton post-game presser bingo that is put out by Annenberg, I think, News.
Is that right?
Yes.
What do we got?
Credit to the blank. So credit to the Huskies
right.
in this situation. A young team, 8 seniors in a conference game. We'll learn from this. Watch the tape.
I'd like to play that bingo.
Proud of these guys. We played our hearts out.
I'm a fan of bingo.
One. Yeah. We only have 8 seniors. There it is. We'll make corrections. After a loss, Helton always emphasizes USC's effort. We played our hearts out. SC's youth. We only have blank seniors or blank new starters. And, of course, he includes that he and his staff will fix it. We got some things to clean up.
Hey, fix it.
And corrections to make.
Hey, fix it.
And he will always remind everybody when USC loses a road game that road games are tough, as if we need that reminder.
It's the Pac-12. You go on the road, it's going to be a tough contest.
We heard it 7 times last year, and we've heard it twice this year. But the most entertaining Helton postgame trick is the one he stole from his old boss, Lane Kiffin. And that is the postgame interview technique to say, Go Owls is right.
Go Owls.
Hi, this is Coach Kiffin.
Go Owls.
Kiffin's thing was, hey, this is how close we were to winning. Well, that is exactly how Helton shaped the 14-point loss to the Huskies. Washington just made 5 or 6 more plays than us.
That's it, huh? Just 5 or 6?
Yeah.
They happen to be touchdowns, but there were still just 5 or 6 of them.
I remember Lane Kiffin, they'd be like, hey, you lost to Cal. Yeah, but you see how close that one. I mean, Matt just missed that. Like, okay.
That close.
Yeah, it was that close, huh? Horseshoes and hand grenades, brother. Now, Chris Peterson, I guarantee he respects the USC talent level, and he proceeds with caution when he tries to beat USC. And he knows how to beat the crap out of air raid teams, Matt. At UW, he's 5-0 against the freaking air raid god, Mike Leach, every time by double digits. So I'm pretty sure USC's air raid was not going to confuse Peterson or Jimmy Lake, his defensive assistant that everybody's talking about, or Pete Kwiatkowski, who's still there. And USC was going to need everything to go right on Saturday and then get a few bounces and a couple calls. And it wasn't close. It wasn't 5 or 6 plays. Helton has never been comfortable in the job, and that's why he carefully words all this stuff, because we criticize him enough anyway. But wouldn't it be nice, just a little accountability? I mean, don't put it all on yourself.
5 or 6 plays, man.
Played our hearts out. I mean,
I believe we can still win. I believe this team could still be elite.
Assess blame to yourself and maybe blame some of the players. If the players screwed up.
Are they fat, dumb, and entitled? If they are, let us know.
Listen, what we like to do is read our press clippings all week and get really excited, and then when the least amount of resistance comes our way, we like to buckle because we're fat, and we're stupid,
we're entitled,
and we're entitled, and dumb.
It's never you. It's never your fault. Ever.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Besides losing the game 28-14, Matt, USC also lost the turnover battle 3-1 on Saturday. And the only reason I bring that up,
That's a pretty good way to lose a game.
it makes the Trojans -7 in the turnover margin on the year.
Oof.
And, yeah, turnover. It's going to come down to the turnovers. And that puts them in the bottom 5 of the Power 5 teams in America. So that's really bad. But I'm not much of a stat guy, as you know. The one thing that really stood out to me was the turnover sword.
Yeah, they got their own Miami turnover chain. The
USC
turnover sword now.
USC has a sideline prop referred to as the turnover sword.
Every program's got to have one now.
It looks like the sword that the Trojan drum major
Exactly.
holds, but on the business end, there is a football stabbed onto it. And I retweeted a tweet for Trevino, one of the beat writer types or something, that he tweeted, here he is, Steele, waving around the turnover sword. Failed to mention that USC was down by 14 points when it happened.
And losing the turnover battle.
And this guy's on the sideline like, well, it's like, dude, it's the fourth quarter. You guys are hanging on by the hair of your sack, and you're waving the turnover sword around? I mean, first of all, why in God's name do you have a turnover sword? Second of all, if you must have a turnover sword, if that's how dumb, fat, and entitled
college football kids are these days.
to steal from Mike Leach, if you need a turnover sword, which was so played out in 2017 when Miami, Matt mentioned, was doing it, if you need a turnover sword, wouldn't you down 14 in the fourth quarter on the road have a guy lock it in a box and kind of quietly take it up the tunnel so nobody gets their hands on the turnover sword?
And then you can bring it back out if you tie the game up and there's a turnover and the turnover sword can be wielded.
Yeah. Don't they already have
Makes sense.
prop? Isn't it the Traveler, the horse?
Would make sense.
Don't they have a horse?
Never heard of him.
It's a home game. They score and a horse comes out and almost kills like 20 people every time, especially since they got rid of the track. And no one was safe on that track either. It's a horse that comes out, and that's a good prop. Because it's old,
Yeah, but Miami's
and
got
it's
this
dangerous.
chain, and it's cool, and everybody's talking about
the
it.
chain is cool, but it's not dangerous and antiquated. I like a dangerous, antiquated animal, and
You've
it
come
could
to the right place.
could go either way.
You've come to the right place.
You know what's going to happen with that freaking animal? So remember the, hey, USC is going to be more disciplined. Remember that?
I do.
Do you mean like Tolona Hufunga was out there dancing around with his jersey on and they got flagged for an unsportsmanlike after the turnover, and then after the flag for unsportsmanlike, the dude was waving the turnover sword. Remember the offseason, we're going to be a lot more disciplined?
Again, incongruous.
We're going to change our culture, though.
Messaging and behavior.
We're going to change our culture. They did do that. Turnover sword. And the quarterback wears the cool wrestling
I was just
belt.
going to say, did Graham Harrell at least get rid of that? Or no, is that still happening?
Why would he?
Did Matt Fink get off the bus in Washington
Matt Fink beat a hell of a Utah team last week.
with the wrestling belt on?
I can't imagine why he wouldn't. He was one of the great players in America last week, beating a great Utah D.
That is ill-advised.
Well, here's a question.
And maybe
Matt.
at 3-2 for the rest of the season, just go ahead and tuck that belt away.
And they're going to Notre Dame after a bye week.
That team doesn't look very good. They weren't in it in Georgia, for God's sakes, for 3.5 quarters. I mean, I'm sure that'll go swimmingly.
Here is the bottom line. Maybe this is SC. You pay USC's coach a lot less than Ohio State pays their coach and a lot less than Alabama and Clemson pays their coach. Maybe you deserve the turnover sword and the air raid
And the wrestling belt.
and the wrestling belt and the, hey, we were really close. And didn't you guys see how close it was? And
5 or 6 plays.
we played our hearts out.
On the
and
road.
Road games are harder. I mean, maybe that's who USC is. And if that's what's acceptable,
And that's a damn shame.
that's fine. We'll move on. We got the Bolts and the Chargers and Northridge to talk about. UCLA almost won. We can talk about that.
Somebody was unhappy that UCLA almost won and didn't actually win against a backup quarterback that maybe some people were familiar with. And I think there's a new hashtag. It's not Where's Theo. Instead, I think it's a hashtag.
Where's Dimitri? Oh, do you know Dimitri?
Right? Do you know where Dimitri is?
Finding Felton. Shouldn't you put him in the slot? Not if he doesn't know the slot plays. Does he know the slot plays, Kate?
Not according to Coach Kelly. He's been practicing at running back. That's where he knows the plays.
Sometimes guys don't know the plays.
Yeah, but he's your best athlete on offense, and just get the dang
Find
ball
a way
in
to
his
get a ball
hands.
to him.
Yeah.
A couple, one or two.
Maybe
Other guy's
you-
pretty good, you know.
Maybe you could hide the ball in his shirt and people would think he was fat and he
Like
could
it.
run up the sideline.
Like that play. It's a good one.
That's why I'm a football analyst. We'll be right back with
Like
how
the
was
one
your
in the
weekend.
Jetsons where the robot, you open the door in the back, put the football in the back, and then close the door, and the robot
Most
just
people
takes
don't
off.
have an ass door, but most people can get the jersey over the ball,
There you
Matt.
go.
That's why the pregnancy weight. But that's why I'm a football analyst. I'm
Right.
here to make those corrections here. We'll be right back with your How Was Your Weekend segment. Matt was in Miami. Cates was locked in a radio studio somewhere in Hollywood and Burbank. And Ronnie was doing home maintenance.
You were in Utah.
Utah.